For any wildlife enthusiast, there is no greater place on Earth than the tropical rainforest paradise of Costa Rica. This Central American country is renowned for being one of the most biodiverse places in the world, home to over 500,000 individual species, which accounts for nearly 4% of all known species on the planet. From the day we started this channel, we knew that exploring this pristine wilderness and filming the wildlife that lives there was a goal we simply had to achieve. This trip is the biggest that we have embarked upon thus far in our careers, and the wildlife we encountered was unlike anything we've ever seen before on this channel. This series will document all of the species we found while exploring, and hopefully will inspire the same passion in you that this place has always inspired in us. To kick things off on this trip of a lifetime, we want to introduce you to the group of animals that followed us through every stage of the adventure. These guys were a constant presence in the environment, and though they may be plentiful, they are truly spectacular. Get ready, because these are some of Costa Rica's most iconic birds. Among Costa Rica's rich avian diversity, one species stands out as easily the most ubiquitous. This species is the great Kiska, a member of the tyrant flycatcher family. They proved to be one of the most common birds we saw. In fact, upon our arrival to the country, this individual on the screen was the very first animal we filmed on the whole trip. The great Kiska is known for its beautiful yellow body and banded head, making it instantly recognizable for any birder. Found throughout Central and South America, this species inhabits open grasslands, forests, and urban areas. As members of the flycatcher family, they feed mostly on insects and small invertebrates, but they will forage for seeds and fruits as well. Kiskades are highly adaptable and cope very well with human settlement. Due to their ability to capitalize on what resources urban habitats provide, this species is thriving across its range, despite large amounts of human encroachment on their natural habitats. Kiskades seem to follow us everywhere we went in Costa Rica, but no matter how many times we saw them, the Kiskades were always an exciting species to film.
On our birding expeditions, we encountered a number of Rufus-naped wrens, a wren species endemic to Central America. Rufus-naped wrens are active foragers, meaning that they move around from location to location in search of prey, and they'll eat everything from nuts and berries to insects, spiders, and other invertebrates. They forage around low-lying scrubland, grassy fields, and dry forests, often flipping leaves and twigs in search of food. They are also naturally inquisitive and have been known to venture into populated areas for food. In certain areas, populations of Rufus-naped wrens have even adapted to living completely in urban areas, and they've been known to eat table scraps and other food waste from humans. Rufus-naped wrens are also very territorial, and they'll defend their territory adamantly from predators and other wrens. They're a very impressive species to see in the wild, and we were super lucky to get so many of these guys on film.
The tropical mockingbird is another of the common yet fascinating species we found while birding. Found throughout Central America, they are widely known for their beautiful and variable call. They closely resemble the northern mockingbird we see back home in the United States, and the two species are in fact very closely related. Like most of the passerines in Costa Rica, tropical mockingbirds are omnivorous, feeding on invertebrates, seeds, and fruits mostly. They are a fearless species. They will readily defend their nests from predators many times their own size, and in urban areas they have been known to steal food directly off of people's plates. Their charismatic nature always makes them interesting to watch, and for us, our birding expeditions would not have been complete without getting this species in front of the camera.
Two of the most common species we encountered during our travels were the bronzed cowbird and the great-tailed grackle. These species fill very similar niches in the ecosystem. They both inhabit open fields, tropical scrubland and forests, and developed areas, and are frequently seen foraging for insects and arthropods in patches of grass or shrubs. Bronzed cowbirds are smaller, with glossy feathers and stout bodies, and they get their name from the bronzy shine they display when viewed in sunlight. One interesting thing about bronzed cowbirds is that they are parasitic egg layers. This means that rather than building their own nests to take care of their own young, they deposit their eggs in the nests of other birds, effectively abandoning their young and forcing a host species to raise them. This trait is common among many cowbird species and means that the bronzed cowbird has no interaction with their offspring after they lay the eggs. The great-tailed grackle grows larger than the bronzed cowbird and is easily recognizable by its namesake oversized tail and beautiful iridescent feathers. Great-tailed grackles feed and nest in large flocks, sometimes reaching a few hundred pairs in a single colony, and this provides protection from predators since there are so many individuals on the lookout at the same time. These guys were a staple of almost every birding mission we embarked upon, as they are distributed throughout most of the Americas, and they were always an impressive species to see. The eastern meadowlark is plentiful throughout the forests of Costa Rica, and is distributed from the eastern US down through South America. These guys typically inhabit grasslands, prairies, and open patches of woodland, but commonly venture into farmlands and urban areas as well, and are common at bird feeders. Eastern meadowlarks are quite striking, with their broad yellow underbellies and black chevrons being most notable, but as recognizable as this species is, it's nearly indistinguishable from its western counterpart, aptly named the western meadowlark. These guys are primarily insectivorous, feeding mostly on crickets and grasshoppers, but will also eat small fruits and nuts in some parts of their range. The mating habits of the eastern meadowlark are particularly unique. Male eastern meadowlarks will typically have 2 mates at a time, and on rare occasions will even take on a third, making them rather productive breeders.
In birding, it's easy to overlook the drabber, more plainly colored species when you stand the chance to see such exotic species as parrots and toucans. Despite the impressive diversity of birds that we stood the chance of encountering, one of our target species to film was actually the very commonly seen clay-colored robin. This is because the clay-colored robin is actually the national bird of Costa Rica, and is much more interesting than it appears. A member of the thrush family, this species ranges from southern Texas to northern Colombia, and is found in forests and open areas, especially among human settlements. It is this prevalence in urban areas that led the clay-colored robin to become the national bird of Costa Rica. Its unique and melodious call is always a clear indicator of the beginning of the rainy season, and because they are frequently found around people, clay-colored robins are a familiar sight to most Costa Ricans. Even though they don't have the striking plumage of other native birds, these guys are a treasured symbol of the seasons in the country. The birding in Costa Rica is world-renowned, and as soon as we arrived in the country, the very first thing we did was grab our camera and binoculars and start searching. These efforts really paid off, as we were able to observe some of Costa Rica's most famous, rarest, and most iconic bird species. That being said, the birds we looked at in this episode, though they are common and often easily spotted, were no less of a treat for us to film. Just about everybody has heard of a macaw or a toucan, but how many of you guys knew the fascinating natural histories of the clay-colored robin or the Rufus-naped wren? These birds are so often overlooked by visitors to the country, but as we have talked about many times on the channel, the common animals that share space with humans every day are often some of the most important species to learn to love and respect. We hope you are taking away a greater appreciation for these birds. The ecosystem truly wouldn't be the same without them. So, did you guys enjoy the first video from Costa Rica? If you did, leave a like on it and subscribe to the Wildlife Brothers now so you don't miss the rest of the series. Trust me guys, there's a lot more in store. See you soon!